Well, I learned my lesson yesterday. Before I say very much at all, let me just ask, can you hear me okay? And can you see me okay? Since this is a live stream, let's just make sure I'm actually indeed live streaming. If you can just give me a thumbs up or a yes, or I can hear you, I can see you, something along that line, just put that there in the live stream chat to let me know that I can see and hear you. Oh, yeah. Good morning. Welcome to the morning live stream and the morning voiceover huddle. I'm Bill DeWeese, professional voiceover talent, voiceover coach, voiceover demo producer. And so glad you're here this morning. Still, trying to get things settled in from our recent move. This morning, I was thinking about this. This is our fourth house over the period of 2 years that we've done a lot of moving over the past 2 years. And every time that we do, of course, as you can imagine, just brings up a whole list of issues that need to be addressed when it comes to voiceover and the technology, in terms of my booth, in terms of even moving of equipment, because in the move, I've misplaced some equipment that I can't find. So I'm fine, I'm operating, but I'm missing some semi-critical pieces of gear that would make my life easier, that would make my live streaming easier. And that's okay because we're making things happen. But one of the things that came up is the whole Source Connect thing. And those of you, first of all, let me back up. Source Connect. Source Connect, if you don't know, is a technology, it's a software program created by Source Elements out of Chicago, which allows you to connect remotely to other studios via the internet using just an app. No ISDN, no copper telephone lines involved like it used to be back in the day. It's all internet and it's high quality. It's better than broadcast quality. It is studio quality audio so that I can be sitting in my studio and recording a session with somebody in Chicago, just up the street, Los Angeles, London, Tokyo, doesn't matter. And they can record it in their studio as if I was sitting there with them and we can communicate back and forth. So I love Source Connect. And I was just reminded of why I love them this morning as I just got off a tech support call with them, and I'll explain that in a moment. But first of all, Source Connect has saved me thousands of dollars. It saved me thousands of dollars because for those of you kids who remember back in the day, ISDN was a technology where ISDN was a telephone technology developed back in the 80s, I believe, and it was used in a lot of corporate settings and large organizational settings. And it's high data flow over a copper telephone line. So that instead of having this old school telephone sound, you had full fidelity. And it was pretty awesome, except that it was very expensive. It was expensive to get installed, and you needed like 2 lines, and then you had to pay the monthly service charge. On top of that, you had to pay time charges, the per minute, and it wasn't cheap. I mean, doing a session could cost you a bit of money. So it wasn't cheap to do. So Source Connect, as pretty much all technology has done, once it made ISDN obsolete, although it's still being used in a few pockets here and there, um, it just made everything cheaper to do. So it saved me thousands of dollars. It's made me many thousands of dollars. It's opened up opportunities to do work with clients that otherwise I would have to be in Los Angeles or in Dallas or in wherever that city to do the work. Now I can do it, from home. As a matter of fact, last year I did a session when we were living in Cincinnati. Um, I booked a job through an agent, and they were regional to Ohio and Cincinnati in particular. And they said, "Would you like to come into the studio downtown, or do you just want to do it from your home?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, I'll do it from my home on Source Connect." Not that I don't. I mean, I enjoy going into a studio occasionally, meeting the people and having that social interaction. But it saves me time, which means it saves me money. Because if for me to have gone into that studio, maybe a few hours, but time, it's still money. It's time I could have been recording other projects or I could have been marketing. But like here in the Chicago market, for me to drive into the city and to do a session, And if I'm needed to do it, I'll still do it. But I rarely am asked to do that because I can do it right here. That's like a half day for me when you consider the drive, the parking, getting into the studio, doing the work, dealing with traffic, getting back home. That's a half day. And so I'm losing money when I'm making money for the time that I'm in the studio and for the work that I do, but the time I don't get paid for the drive there, the drive back, and I could be doing other, uh, projects for other clients, and it expands my capabilities worldwide when it comes to working remotely with other clients. So a few reasons why I love Source Connect, and finally, the last is their support is fantastic. Now, one thing I will say, a bit of constructive criticism, I don't find their website to be all that user-friendly. It's a bit clunky to use. I mean, you can figure it out, but it's not quite as streamlined as I would like. But anytime I need their support, and I've needed it a lot, because every time that I move to a new location, or if anytime I'm using Source Connect in a different location, like even if I'm on vacation someplace and I want to use the internet there, I've got to get the ports mapped. It's a technical thing I don't fully understand, but to allow that internet service to work with Source Connect, sometimes you can get by without it, but oftentimes you need to have the ports mapped. Well, I just had a really major opportunity come up this week for a major job. It's down to me and one other person, and they want to do a test over Source Connect. Well, I just moved, and my Source Connect wasn't working because I had not had my ports mapped. So this is kind of a last minute thing. I jump on their website, Source Connect's website last night. I was able to book um, a support session. It was $25, I think, for a 15-minute session. Um, you could check to make sure I'm right about the 15 minutes, but here's the thing, it never takes them more than 5 or 10 minutes to fix. They do it remotely. You download a little app and they go into your computer and they do the whole thing. And every time, and I've used them a lot for this, within literally 5, 6, 7 minutes, it's up, it's working, it's seamless, it's no hassle, it's no sweat. And now I'm set up and I have my opportunity, to do the thing that I need to do, as well as continue to work with my other clients that require Source Connect. So today is just a day to share a little love. I love Source Connect. They have made my life better, easier. I make more money with Source Connect. I mean, if they were a political candidate, I'd be voting for them in the next election, because my life is definitely better now with Source Connect than it was before Source Connect. And let me just add a PS to this whole thing, and that is, if you're brand new to voiceover, don't rush out and get Source Connect. Um, I would say one out of every, I don't know, maybe one out of every 20 sessions that I do, I am asked to use Source Connect. So most of the sessions that I do, most of the sessions that you'll do probably won't require it. But when that time comes, they have a free trial where it's a fully functioning trial, and then you can pay for it monthly or a one-time fee. And so much cheaper than ISDN. Oh my gosh, it's absolutely amazing. So thank you, Source Connect. I love you. You've made my life so much better. And thank you for being on the stream. You make my life better because I just love the chance that we have to get together every morning and to talk voiceover. I appreciate you being here. And if you haven't yet, take just a moment to let me know your name and where you're watching or listening from this morning, and we'll do a little roll call and see who's on the stream. We've got Phil in Tokyo. Hey, Phil, hope you're doing well this evening in Tokyo. Rob, how's it going in beautiful San Francisco? Jack in Phoenix. We got Corey in Wisconsin. AJB, how's it going? Dan, good morning to you. Chris, good morning. Phil. Okay, let's see here. Doug in Greensboro, North Carolina. Greg, what's going on in Nashville? Ty, good morning to you in Warsaw, Indiana. Getting those technology kinks worked out. Absolutely. And there's no better feeling than when you do have them worked out, when you've kind of settled into your space and you've got everything working just the way you want it. And it's amazing to me how if I'm traveling and I need to do something, or we move to another location, even though I'm using a lot of the same equipment, it's disorienting. That's all I can say. It's just disorienting because I'm so accustomed to my setup and the way the workflow and how things, interact and interface with each other, that I'm looking forward to getting to a place very soon where I'll have that same thing going on here in my new studio. We're getting there. Melissa in San Diego, good morning to you. Very early good morning to you. Wade in Philadelphia. Denise in Long Island. Merrill, what's going on in New Jersey? We've got Bob, Dr. Bob in Clearwater. It's a bright and beautiful morning. Good deal. Jim in Lincoln, Nebraska. Sandra in Dallas, Fort Worth. We got Peter Jones in Milton Keynes, England. Milton Keynes or Milton Keynes? And Peter, I apologize. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. You know, I've talked about this before, and I'll bring it up again. But if any of you guys over in England, not just England, well, Europe. I know we've got a lot. I got a lot of listeners, a lot of students scattered throughout Europe. If you want to coordinate together to sponsor an event, I wouldn't mind at some point coming over and doing a training weekend or a day of training or something along that line. It'd be good to come over and meet you guys. Desiree in Houston. Thomas in Olympia. What's going on? And by the way, although I gave you a bit of an explanation of Source Connect, if you want to go to the website and learn more, it's source-elements.com. That's the company, source-elements.com, and you can check it all out there. I should have mentioned that earlier. David, hello to you in Louisville. Tim, good morning to you in Salt Lake. Sandra in Westerville. John in Rhinebeck, New York. Guy in St. Louis. Jorge, how are you doing? It says, nice to listen to you on this topic. I understand what it feels to miss equipment or workflow step. Patience. Yes. Yes, indeed. It does take patience. Hey, Tess, good morning to you in Decatur, Georgia. Had to set up a timer so I don't miss your pearls. Thank you, Tess. I appreciate it. And thanks, guys, for your flexibility and patience as I shift time zones. And I really didn't want to be up, streaming at 7:30 Central Time because my life has kind of shifted around that time, and 8:30 just seems to work really well. Because frankly, I'm not a morning guy. I did my time in radio mornings, and it just goes against every fiber of my being to get up that early. Although I did it for a very long time. Hey, Scott in Quinlan, Texas. I saw your morning huddle for newbies. Excellent motivation. Thanks a bunch. Hey, it's for everybody, new and old and all those in between as well. But thanks for being here, Scott. I do appreciate that. We've got Bill. Hold on here a second. I lost. What is the problem here? See, working out the kinks. Bill says, happy Friday Eve. That's how I look at Thursday, too, with Friday being my favorite day of the week. Rusty in the Upper Peninsula. Good morning to you. Janet in Florida. Theo, what's going on? Good morning from gloomy downtown Chicago. Happy that last night's tornadoes. Hold on a second. I'm sorry. Again, part of my frustration right now is I'm still working off a 13.5-inch MacBook Air screen. I don't have my equipment yet to use my external monitors. These little computers only come with one port. It's a USB-C port. So you have to get an adapter to go USB-C to, USB, and then need a hub so you can connect in an external monitor. It's a whole thing. But anyhow, let's see here, get my eyeballs on so I can see what's going on. Here we go. So Theo says, good morning from gloomy downtown Chicago. Happy the last night's tornadoes didn't hit my building. I knew that we were under, at least down here where I'm at. I'm not in the city. I'm outside the city, but it was a tornado watch. And the weather didn't get very bad here at all, but I haven't watched the news to see what's going on. I hope everybody's doing okay. John says, good morning, Bill, from mighty Memphis. Does my voiceover blueprint include the business side of voiceover? John, I'm glad you asked. Absolutely does, because that's one thing that's been sadly missing in voiceover training. The voiceover teaching, coaching paradigm has been get a coach, get performance coaching, get a demo, get an agent. And then that was it. And then you just keep getting coaching, you keep auditioning, you keep coaching, keep auditioning until hopefully someday you get a job. Until, magically something good happens. But the business, man, if you don't understand the marketing side, you're in deep trouble. If you don't understand the operational side, the office side, how that works, working with clients and billing and receivables and all that. If you don't understand that stuff, then you're going to have a difficult chance of succeeding. Your chances of succeeding become very slow in voiceover. You need to understand the whole business, not just a facet of it, the whole business. And yes, John, thanks for asking. My voiceover blueprint is Voiceover University. You learn everything. And there are links to all my resources below in the description. Do you recommend VO for me or doing audiobooks to get the career started? So, yeah, audiobooks are so plentiful. And when I say that, I mean, you've got the broad gamut. You've got what I'll call entry level audiobooks, they're lower pay. And then you've got higher pay, bigger titles, bigger sales. But when you're brand new, yes, get some of those lower paying entry level books. Get number one, you get cash flow. Number two, you get experience. You develop your editing skills, you develop your performance skills, and you begin to develop relationships with authors and publishers. So yes, absolutely. It is the lowest hanging fruit. Laura says, hello from St. Paul, Minnesota. Times change, technology changes. Isn't it interesting to think where we'll go from here? I know. I'll tell you, Laura, sometimes it blows my mind because the speed at which, it's not just where we're going, but it's the speed at which we're going. And it's hard to recalibrate your thinking because you think, okay, well, it took us, you think about the internet revolution going from the 90s into the 2000s. And, when we started using email and Google all became a regular thing. And now the speed at which that all is all increasing, maybe, you think about the past 20 years, we'll probably see that much, if not more, evolution and change over the next 5 years. I mean, it's just accelerating at such a rapid pace. Wally says, I'll be recording and blueprinting today with a new maxed out memory. Thanks for leading the way. Wally, good to have you in the blueprint. And yeah, that memory, man, you can't have too much memory, in my humble opinion. Let's see here. Good morning, Robert Hernandez. Hello. James from Wesley Chapel, Florida. Bob in Wadsworth. We've got Dave in New York City. Claire. Catching the live stream is much easier from Arizona after your move. And I'm happy for those of you who are west of me that it makes it easier. And I'm thrilled about that. Sorry for those of you who are east and in Europe and in Tokyo and, wherever you may be, because I know it just pushes things back an hour for you guys. John says, thanks for the advice and info about Source Connect. You're very welcome. Gary, very seldom need to use it, but sure is nice to have when it may be the difference between getting or not getting the job. Absolutely. Hey, Lemuel in Fort Wayne, the move and time change allows me to make it here live more often. Welcome home. Thank you. Well, you know what? It's funny because going back to Ohio was like a homecoming. I mean, my wife and I both grew up in Ohio. We met in Ohio. We married in Ohio. We had 2 of our 3 kids in Columbus, Ohio. I worked in radio for like 24 years. Not all of that in Ohio, actually. The first 11 of that in Ohio. But then we moved to Illinois and we raised our kids, had another child here. We raised our 3 kids. We lived in the Chicagoland area for like 30 years and went back to Ohio. And it was nice going back to Ohio. I enjoyed it, but home is where your family's at. And being back here, we live 3 doors down from our grandkids. My grandson stopped by last night and wanted to watch a movie with us. And, I mean, you just can't, it's unbelievable. It's pretty wonderful. We've got Chet in Baton Rouge. Awesome. Getting ready to sign with your first agent. Good luck with that, Chet. Jim in California. And by the way, for those of you I get quite a few questions on the live stream chat, and I appreciate that. I don't have time. As a matter of fact, I've gone way over the time that I normally go this morning already. But if you could bring questions tomorrow, Fridays I reserve for Q&A. So I try to answer as many questions I can on Friday stream. So make sure you come back with those questions then. Hey, Marcus, good morning to you. Wet and Green Springfield. Terry says, I dig the golfer t-shirt. Terry from Maryland. Thank you, Terry. It's my Life is Good Golfing Under the Coconut Tree shirt. Liz says, welcome back to Illinois. Thank you, Liz. Good to be here. Hey, Tim in Reno. I'm just going to Cliff, Gene, and Rob in Loveland. Guys, thanks for being here. Always a pleasure. Appreciate you being here. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow morning with your questions for our Q&A.